that they plant these certain reports or they say these certain things, and you do hear the word arrogant. Why is he arrogant? Because he won't walk into the meeting and bend the knee, or he won't sit in the meeting and question himself or his abilities or his knowledge and experience in the game. I don't believe that that's arrogance. I want a quarterback that's self-assured. I want a quarterback that can cut the film on, and when you ask him a question about why did you make this mistake, or why did you make this throw, or why was this the right read, I want him to be able to regurgitate that to me like he's in the play at the moment, the same way a coach or an offense coordinator would, because that's what he's going to have to do.
What if I told you that Coach Prime was just hit with a truth bomb that was so hot that not even his expensive sunglasses could cover up the smoke? Ryan Clark threw the entire kettle onto the Sanders hype machine rather than simply spilling the tea. The timeline is currently in complete chaos. Is the alleged golden boy losing ground? Does this mean that the NFL is ignoring the great dynasty before it even begins? This draft drama isn't like the others. Anarchy is at its prime time, and it's getting worse quickly. Imagine it, the fantasy script in which Shedeur Sanders enters the NFL draft like a movie protagonist. It's pouring confetti. He wears Versace spectacles and Deion cheese. Everywhere there are flashing cameras. That story just hit the record with a huge scratch. Ryan Clark, an NFL safety who became a truth teller with zero filter, was the one who turned the tables.
Damn near killed for 2 years at Colorado. And I never saw him berate a lineman on the sideline. I never saw him cuss or scream at a coach. And you're hearing these things like entitled and these little pieces of the characteristics of his personality when we had a #1 overall draft pick get arrested for being orderly and drunk. And we had more people coming out and saying, okay, here is who the real Baker Mayfield is. Don't watch this video.
As if it were personal, he kicked down the door and launched into the Sanders story. Deion may now require a helmet rather than sunglasses. The Sanders family has been managing football like a Hollywood production for the past 12 months. Shedeur wasn't merely subpar, he starred in an origin narrative akin to that of Marvel. A hype train louder than a crowded Colorado student section, custom iced-out watches, and NIL deals larger than some rookie contracts. The dynasty was booming after one of Deion's ferocious motivational speeches. Deion had the media eaten out of his palm up until this point, as if every soundbite was scripture and every press conference was a church. Shedeur was more than a simple quarterback. He was destiny's appointed arm, the one that the NFL was purportedly anticipating. Additionally, it appeared for a brief moment that the league was prepared to show off. Buzz for the first round? Check. Double-check the top 10 projections. There are rumors that he outperformed those so-called classic quarterbacks, the stiff robotic ones who bored you to no end, but managed to win games. Yes, they were expected to move aside to make room for the Sanders show. Reality, however, would not be subordinated. Every Week in Boulder became another disaster TV show as the season progressed. 53 is the sack number. Verify online outbursts that resembled comedic sketches more than anything else. Verify again. Scouts suddenly stopped drooling. They narrowed their eyes. From a bright youngster to a man clutching the ball as if it were owing rent, Shedeur changed.
There's only one you, though.
Thank you.
And you say you leave hope behind, but so many people felt like when prime time left, so did that hope. That people, the Under Armours and the ESPN game days, they came to Jackson for Coach Prime.
Right.
And when you think about HBCUs now moving forward, not only just Jackson State, but the entire SWAC, what is it that they can take from kind of the blueprint that you left that's usable without your name?
Let's go on the field first. Number one, you got to have a quarterback that can throw the darn football to win.
Presence in the pocket? Try pocket absence, please. The unimaginable began to be whispered among NFL front offices. Was Shedeur simply skilled at creating viral moments, or was he truly prepared for the NFL? Then, suddenly Ryan Clark appeared. He expressed more than just an opinion. Under the pretext of analysis, he unleashed a professional roast. Ignore the hot take. While the world was still enthralled with primetime sparkle, this was an icy rain. When Ryan Clark fed the silent passage aloud, the entire table trembled violently. NFL circles do not roll their eyes when Clark speaks, as they slant closer. He isn't just any studio screamer looking to gain influence. He is connected to the system, which includes the late-night calls and murmurs. He is aware of how draft rooms go crazy, how general managers perspire profusely, and how coaches become caffeine-induced madmen in an attempt to avoid selecting the next big-ticket bust. Therefore, he essentially remarked, "You're not it yet," as he glanced at Shedeur. The room froze. Oh. Gone is the golden first-round glow. Whispers of perhaps day 2 or worse, perhaps day 3 if things continue to deteriorate, took the place of those top 10 headlines. The dream swiftly transitioned from the red carpet to the atmosphere of a waiting area. Along with Deion,
and the Sanders family, we talk about collusion. They brought up race. They talk about the arrogance and his confidence. It's okay to be confident, but if Shedeur was as elite as, people had spoken him up to be, he'd have gone first round. To slide 5th round was crazy to me. I'm not sure how he got to that point. The good thing is this: I do trust in God's timing, and Deion's always talking about faith.
Ooh, that didn't sit well with him. Through that trademark smile, you could just hear his teeth grinding. Here's the issue, you see. Deion has always had unwavering confidence. He made a living by betting on himself and consistently cashing out. However, that assurance transforms into a fatherly force field when it comes to Shedeur. Deion believes that no one ever touches his child, not scouts, analysts, or even the harsh truth. Naturally, he retaliated, portraying the NFL, the same league that is notorious for snatching quarterbacks and spitting out cleats, as if it were afraid of Shedeur's bravado. Yes, coach, but this is where things become interesting. The NFL retreats further the harder Deion presses his story. GMs are not interested in flamboyant speeches or emotive press releases. They're looking for tape. Grit is what they desire. When the lights go off and the glitter fades, they want to witness what happens. Furthermore, Shedeur's highlight reel currently has more of the vibe of a Michael Bay trailer than a quarterback resume. Huge explosions and eye-catching editing, but little coherence. Let's put the receipts down. Shedeur wasn't garbage, stat-wise. He had respectable numbers. He appeared solid on paper, but football isn't played on spreadsheets. Survival is the only statistic that counts in this game, which is played in trenches, blood, sweat, and collapsing pockets. When your coach is shouting yes and your body's shouting no.
Algorithm, but I see Shiloh and Shedeur more than I've ever seen any undrafted guy or 5th round guy on social media in the history of Instagram, Threads, Twitter, X, whatever it is. Like, those dudes are everywhere. And they caught some of Deion's strays, right? Deion had a level of greatness that was untouchable, right? Deion could say, yeah, I'm not interviewing with these people because I'm not gonna be there in the draft. Deion could say, hey, I already ran 140. I ain't effing with no more of this testing because y'all already know I'm top 5 and it ain't tripping. Watch the film, know who I am. That's the difference between, I think, Deion and who his kids were.
The truth comes to light at that point. In actuality, scouts observed a quarterback who is still picking things up on the fly. A gifted college student battling through a rebuilding period that feels more TikTok than textbook. Not a finished product, not a savior. Before we even consider the draft class breathing down his neck, that is. The year 2025 is stacked. Here, Caleb Williams is using Jedi mind tricks to fool defenses. Drake May shoots lasers as if he were manufactured in a quarterback factory. McCarthy, JJ, both tedious and effective, somehow. And you know what? If it results in wins, NFL executives love boring. Instagram cannot get you into the first round. You can't get a starting job by getting along with people. The fact that your dad is in prime time is irrelevant to the league. It doesn't care if you're reading well or if you're freestyling like it's open mic night. This is where things start to get crazy, though. Deion isn't going to back down. He's going all out. Rumor has it that Colorado is going to reload heavily. More weapons, more skill, and perhaps even some linemen who will block someone this time. It is being marketed as Shedeur's official comeback tour for the upcoming season. Additionally, the stakes
First round, number one, he didn't code switch. What do I mean he didn't code switch? Shedeur Sanders did not change his identity or how he comes off. He did not change how he comes off for the sake of the decision makers. And who are decision makers in the National Football League? Primarily non-minorities, primarily white people. He did not code switch. He stayed true to Shedeur. I played with the dude, and Shady's talked about this before on one of his podcasts, a dude named Rock Carmichael. He played defensive back for the Eagles. Rock Carmichael was told, you need to cut your hair while being in the NFL.
they have never been employed. Video highlights and crowd enthusiasm are no longer the exclusive topics of discussion. Every picture is an audition for the scouts with clipboards, the coordinators with game film, and the general managers with livelihoods on the line. Not only for the fans in the stands or the internet haters, the whispers get louder with one incorrect reading and one unsightly back. Does he actually look better on Saturdays in collegiate lights or on Sundays? The actual kicker is right here. This is not just Shedeur's tale. Deion's enormous vision is on trial here. Watch me flip the system master plan with his audacious bravado. The empire of the medium, the return of the swagger. Primetime itself is the gospel. Shedeur's draft stock is not the only thing that suffers if he breaks under duress. It damages the entire premium brand. Deion has been promoting the same brand as gospel. This leads us to Ryan Clark once more. The criticism wasn't created by the man. He was the first to say it, and he spoke it aloud, which was sufficient to change the course of events. The emperor is not nude. To be honest though, his draft armor appears to be frail and patched together. We've now reached the scene in the film where the camera pans out, the music turns gloomy, and you understand this isn't just about one guy throwing spirals. Shedeur Sanders is at the heart of a storm composed of anticipation, optimism, and hesitancy in this draft aftermath. Mock drafts currently resemble a Vegas dice throw.
In drafting, I didn't think it was first-round talent. And the quote we played and that's on the screen, I think is flatly wrong. We all know this shouldn't have happened. Yes, it should have. It should have happened because this wasn't. Now, again, teams can be wrong. The league as a whole can be wrong. Hell, the Baltimore Ravens drafted a 25-year-old tight end before they drafted Lamar Jackson in the same draft. The die is not cast on who Shedeur Sanders will be. The die is cast on what the NFL thinks of him.
Nerve-wracking and unpredictable. In the late first round, Shedeur appears to be poised to capitalize on his primetime glory. Then he's free-falling into the third, as if someone had disconnected his Madden controller. Matching on a dating app and then ghosting before the first text is the NFL equivalent of this. There is curiosity, but there is fierce competition and little follow-through. Caleb Williams appears to be a walking cheat code for video games. Drake, with a rocket arm constructed in a lab? It might be smooth as butter. NFL executives adore J.J. McCarthy's dull, steady, and effective style more than his flair. Next came Bo Nix and Michael Penn Jr. You were selected in the 5th round of the draft, correct?